The Girl in the Glass Coffin. By Jim Boyle, Margot Morgan stepped out of the lavatory. She had light blonde hair that fell to her shoulders and high cheekbones that gave her face a sculpted quality. She was tall, or at least her heels made her appear that way, and she wore designer jeans paired with expensive heels and a tight top. Carole Gray was a step behind her. She had long, dark hair and a naturally beautiful face. Her dark eyes, flawless skin, and full lips combined to create a striking appearance. She wore a light blouse and tailored shorts that showed off her long, shapely legs. They had gone to the bathroom to freshen up. The brightness of their eyes suggested they might have taken advantage of the trip to indulge in a few party favors as well. John knelt in the middle of the aisle and raised the Nikon. Margot and Carole reacted instinctively. Something shifted in the way they carried themselves. Margot tilted her chin down and let her blonde hair fall just so. Carole straightened her spine and pulled her shoulders back. The narrow aisle of the Gulfstream G700 became a runway, and they walked it like pros. Margot had that lazy, heavy-lidded thing she did, like she was bored by her own beauty. Carole played it differently, all angles and jaw, daring the lens to find a flaw. John backed down the aisle, shooting as they came. Both girls were photogenic as hell. Margot was hot, no question. Surgically enhanced hot. Carole was equally hot in a different way. Comparing the two was like comparing an all-natural bodybuilder with a mass monster who used gear. John preferred Carole, but Margot steamed up a lens like no other. He concentrated on Carole. She was the boss. She paid the bills. She was the reason he was on her daddy's jet. He hadn't wanted to come. Spending a long weekend with Carole on a tropical island was a fantasy. Spending that same weekend with her friends was a nightmare. But she said come, so he was here. The light in the cabin was decent. His ridiculously expensive lens, several $1,000s, was perfect for this environment. Plus, he'd tweak the photos later. He'd have some good stuff. Hey, camera boy. John lowered the Nikon. Brian Donlevy was sprawled across two cream leather seats near the wing, one leg draped over the armrest, an empty bottle of Stella wedged between his thigh and the seat cushion. He was 20, good-looking in a puffy, well-fed way. He wore a linen shirt, unbuttoned one button too far, and a watch that cost more than John's car. "Get me a beer," Brian said. John was not offended. Brian was an asshole to everyone. "I'll make you a deal," John said. Brian regarded John with suspicion. "What kind of deal?" "A simple one. You stop ruining my shots this weekend and I'll fetch your beers the whole trip. Every single one." Brian laughed. "Ruining your shots?" "The finger, Brian, the faces." "The finger's funny." "It is, and your timing is awesome, but I can't use them for Carole's posts. I will fetch your drinks if you let me get my shots." John watched Brian weigh his options. Free beer delivery for a whole weekend in exchange for not being a jackass in photos. It was a difficult choice for Brian. Carole put a hand on John's shoulder from behind. "He works for me," Carole said. "Get your own beer." "John approached me seeking assistance with his photography," Brian said. "I'm willing to help, and because I'm a nice guy, I'm not asking for much in return. A beer now and then." Carole pointed at the beer. "You should slow down. How many have you had already?" "I am in complete control, darling. That beer, John?" Carole squeezed John's shoulder. "Fine. Get it for him." John stood. Carole pointed at John's camera. "There's satellite on the island. You can send your pics to Rhea from there." "Rhea said she wanted daily drops," John said. "Rhea managed Carole's social media. John fed her pictures." "Good," Carole said. She moved around John and dropped into the seat across from Brian. John set the camera on his seat and walked to the galley at the rear of the cabin. And he found a Stella in the mini fridge, popped the cap, and brought it back. Brian took it without thanks. John went back to his camera and checked the display, flicking back through the shots of Margot and Carole coming up the aisle. Skip Steely leaned forward in his seat so he could get a better view of Carole. Skip was the future senator of the group. He had a big, fake smile and was a born backslapper. Skip seemed to agree with every point of view. It was as if he had no opinions of his own. "So, Carole, can you brief us on the island?" Skip said. Diana McLean, Skip's girlfriend, looked at him. Carole already told us. Didn't you read what she sent? I skimmed it. It's not the same in writing. I want to hear it in person. Come on, set the scene for us. Nah, Carole glanced at John. Do you mind? John knew the island. He'd been there once before, when her father gave her the island for her high school graduation. John had flown out to shoot content for her socials. He set his camera down. It's a private island, John said, roughly 7,000 acres. The runway is along one side of the island, the mansion is on the other. Between the runway and the mansion is jungle. There are smaller residences on the property for staff. 7,000 acres, Diana said. How much is that? It's 7,000 acres, Brian said. I know that. I mean in real numbers, she said. Almost 11 square miles, John said. That's a lot, right? Deanna said. It is, John agreed. Daddy gave her an island, Brian said. Says the drunk wearing a $50,000 watch, Carole said. True, Brian said, but it's not an island. And John kept going before Brian could start an argument. Power is solar with a diesel generator for backup. The house has a full basement that's basically an apocalypse shelter. Reinforced walls, water filtration, food stores. There's even a hydroponic garden. It's really cool if you're into that type of stuff. What's the internet situation? Dennis asked. Dennis was a big guy, not muscled. He'd gone heavy early in life. He was the second richest heir on the plane, though a distant second behind Carole. The internet is satellite, and so is the TV, John said. What's there to do on an island other than sit around? Dennis asked. Margot, curled in the seat next to Dennis, put her hand on his arm. You could spend time with us, relax, swim, go hiking. If John were headed to a secluded private island in the Pacific with Margot Morgan, he wouldn't be asking what there was to do. He kept that observation to himself. What about food? What's the food situation? Tell me we don't have to do our own cooking, Dennis said. There's a cook. She's awesome, John said. I'll be the judge of that, Dennis said, although there was relief in his voice. How do they get supplies out there, like groceries and things? Diana asked. Most of the supplies come by boat, plus there's the stuff from the hydroponic garden, John said. What about cell service? Diana said. There isn't any. Satellite is the only link. There's Wi-Fi in the house. And there's a sat phone for emergencies, Carole said. So we're off the grid, Skip said. He seemed to like this idea. Completely, Carole said. I think it sounds amazing, Margot said. It is amazing. You're going to love it, Carole said. John was reviewing the shots when Carole's voice cut through. Put the camera down, John. Take a break. She patted the seat next to her. He turned off the Nikon and put it in the camera bag. He had multiple camera bags on this trip. He had yet to learn to pack light. He moved back a row and sat beside Carole. Brian remained across from them. The lounge seating formed a square with 2 leather chairs facing 2 others, giving the area the feel of a private conversation pit. As soon as he sat, Carole pushed up the arms between them, swung her legs up, and rested her bare feet on his knees. Her toes were painted dark red. She wiggled them once and settled in. John resisted the urge to reach down and massage them. In his opinion, Carole had attractive feet. Not huge, Bigfoot feet, but small, shapely, kissable ones. He tried to act like it was no big deal. Brian watched from across the aisle, his jaw tightened. He took a long pull from his beer and set it down harder than necessary. Tell them the rest, Carole said, about the island. I don't want to scare anyone, John said. Oh, please, scare us, Brian said. I second that, Skip said. Is it bad? If it's bad, I don't want to hear it, Diana said. I think we're about to hear a ghost story, Dennis said. Am I right? More like a monster story, John said. Dennis clapped his hands together. I love it. Finally, something interesting. Maybe we shouldn't hear it, Diana said. Nonsense. If you're scared, I'm sure Skip will figure out a way to comfort you. Won't you, Skip? Dennis said. Absolutely, Skip said. Are you sure? John asked Carole. You heard them, she said. Carole asked me to research the island after her father gave it to her. I went deep. AI research tools, historical databases, old naval records. I put together a full report, John said. It was 40 pages, Carole said. John shifted slightly. Carole's feet pressed down, a gentle correction. Stay. The island is in the western North Pacific, near Guam, tropical climate year-round. Palm trees, blue water, dense jungle interior. It's beautiful. You saw the photos I took last time, John said. Get to the good part, Carole said. The waters around the island have a serious history of piracy, going back centuries. Chinese pirates, Wokou raiders, Malay fleets. We're not talking about a couple of guys in a rowboat. Some of the largest pirate armadas ever assembled operated in that part of the Pacific. Hundreds of ships, thousands of men. Skip sat up. Pirates, like actual pirates. Actual pirates. Is there gold? Dennis asked. Probably, John said. These fleets raided trade routes between China, Japan, and Southeast Asia for generations. Silk, spices, silver, gold. A lot of that loot was never recovered. There are dozens of legends about buried treasure on islands all through that region. There could be massive wealth somewhere on the island. On our island, Margot said. Possibly. It fits the profile. Remote, sheltered harbor on the south side. Fresh water, it would have been a natural staging point. But though, I'm going to find pirate gold this weekend, Dennis said. You said something about monsters, Margot said. I did. The most interesting part of the island's history is more recent. The Japanese occupied the island during World War II. They built a small installation in the interior, concrete bunkers, a few structures. Most of it's overgrown now, but there are rumors about what went on there. The cabin got quiet. Even Brian looked up from his beer. What kind of rumors? Diana asked. Experiments. What kind of experiments? Skip pressed. John paused. He looked at the faces watching him. The hum of the engines filled the silence. Think the island of Dr. Moreau, John said. Bullshit, Dennis said. The real answer is that nobody knows. The historical record confirms the Japanese had a research facility on the island, but when the war ended and Allied forces came through, the installation was already abandoned. Nothing else was ever found. So there were experiments, but nobody knows what they were, Skip said. There are rumors, but nothing concrete, nothing verified, John said. What kind of rumors, camera boy? Brian asked. Screaming. Rumors of terrible screaming, John said. Horseshit, Brian said. Dennis pointed a big finger at John. Pirate gold and monsters. Excellent effort. Is there a chance we'll see any monsters? Wait, don't tell me. Don't spoil it.